Hello everyone, this is another layout video. I plan on making 2 layouts per year, so this is the first one. So I guess we'll get into it. I do plan on releasing one more video before taking a short break as a college. But for right now, this is the layout I've constructed for December/January. I think I did a good job. I did film a video on this layout. That will be releasing soon, so I hope you enjoy that, and I hope you enjoy this little tour that I have set up. So I guess we'll start down at what I would call the hub of the track, the layout, which is Napford. So we have Thomas with Annie and Clarabelle. We have a few visitors. We have Big City Engine, Hugo, and Flying Scotsman. We have a little group of important people here. We have Santa Claus, Sir Topham Hatt, Mr. Percival, the Admiral, and a man in a brown suit who is my interpretation of Sir Charles Hatt. So, anyhow, that is the Christmas tree. That's my little ode to Christmas because I was a little late. I didn't post anything for Christmas, technically. So there's that little area. I did get quite a few new things for Christmas. You saw the customs in that video, hopefully. You'll see them. You'll see a few new pieces and destinations that I got as well. So, moving over here, one of the new pieces I got was those 3-way switch yard tracks, whatever you want to call them. So that's how I've set up the yard. It's a little unorganized. We have James next to the water tower, just something new that I've got. And there's 13 shunting Ulp in the back, so 2 of those customs. James doesn't look too happy to be in the yard with dirty trucks and dirty sidings, all that. So the yard is a little small, but I'm happy with how it turned out because of the switch tracks, and I like the T-switch going into it from Napford. I think it came out pretty good. So if we come along here, we pass by the Napford Mail Depot, and then there, pulling the express coaches, is Super Ed. So he's here, he's on the island trying to prove that he can be better than any steamy. Anyhow, we pass over the highway crossing and we come to this kind of a major part of the layout because a lot of the lines just lead back here. This is the figuration, I would say, of the pirate ship figure 8 set. We have Spencer going over the actual pirate ship, and then we have Skiff and Sailor John, who are surrounded by the 3 lorries, probably scheming something. What I'm really happy about is that I was able to keep the figure 8 factor of the pirate ship, so you can actually stay in the loop there, but there's many ways to branch off. So I'm happy with how that turned out. On the other end, because it was a little bland over here, I put Tim Myth-Halt. And Sydney's pulling the brass band car, and Bulgy's there. Probably surprised that Sydney found his way to Myth-Halt in the first place, which honestly I am too. We'll continue along this line that we were on with Super Ed, and we come to the Echo Tunnel with Neil, who has the waterworks cars. I guess they're extracting water from the mine, because there is a lot of water in mines. Over here's a siding with, I guess they have in the series all these little workman huts near areas. So I put one near the coal hopper. We have Ryan talking to Nelson, just because they needed somewhere to be. There is a crossing there, which we'll get to the other line in a minute. Then we have 199 at Wellssworth, probably scouting out for someone more dastardly. Of course, he works for Diesel 10. Obviously, every diesel from the mainland who is evil works for Diesel 10. Then we have this. Wellsworth is kind of a major area. There's a lot going on here. We have a siding with the cider mill, and we have Edward talking with his old friend Trevor. So this is sort of the apple orchard part where the vicar lives. We have the vicar's residence right there with the beehive and all that. So the apple mill kind of represents that, which I'm happy. I came from the Dustin set, and I'm really happy they made it because it does a good job representing the orchard. Then we have sort of a new destination for me. Oh, by the way, the pirate ship stuff was new for me too. The useful engine shed. Now, I did have one previously, but the door was broken. So I bought one that had the door, but I used the roof from the old one, so it's kind of a hodgepodge of two different ones. And we just have Mallard resting in the sheds there, you know, taking up whoever actually wants to be there because he thinks he's more important. Of course, being the fastest steam engine in the world, he has an ego, so he's taking up that whole shed. We'll come this way to a T-switch to another new destination of mine, which is the power station. I've also got, not new engines, but renditions of one I didn't have, like Diesel, that's the 2011 version. That Edward is new for me. Back here, Percy's new for me, which we'll get to. James with the gold dome. I spent a lot of time this past semester, or whatever, getting the versions of the engines that I really liked, so I'm really happy to have those engines. The only one I'm currently missing, or one of the main characters, is Duck. I've been looking for the Mattel version, but he's very hard to find, so eventually I will find him. But anyways, here at the power station, there's a T-switch, and we have Diesel trying to fuel tankers. We'll go this way, and we come to a crossing with Max and Monty arguing about who goes first, I guess, because they always cause trouble. And then we come to the sort of the scrapyard part, which I guess you could say, if you want, is a Wellssworth scrapyard. We have Vinny talking to the scrapyard manager, whose name is Mr. Petraglia, who is also from the States. And they're probably reminiscing about, you know, how it is back in the States, what they miss about being from the Northeast. So Mr. Petraglia is supposed to be a joke because everyone posted on social media that that wooden figure looks like Tony Soprano, and he's a JJ the Jet Plane figure. So I bought it because I have been into the Sopranos a little bit recently. So I have a wooden railway Tony Soprano on my layout. But of course his name is not Tony Soprano, because then, you know, people would have a hit out for him. So he's Mr. Petraglia for now. Well, we'll get to the roads when we get sort of where they go in a little bit. We come to another T-switch. We're gonna go this way. Another new acquisition of mine is the Haunted Mine, or yeah, that's what it's called. And it also collapses, so I have Oliver, who crashed into it, unfortunately, with Scruffy, the Dynamite Scruffy, which is also new for me. Fred and Rickety, with Toad in the back there, who you can barely see, but he is there. So at this Haunted Mine, there's a few ways to go. I like that it is a switch. That is very nice. But we go past the conductor's shed, and we come to the paint factory and back to Napford. And I just want to point out that there's a little loop as well, where if you go that way past the dairy, there's a little line that comes back to Napford as well, and we pass the Soto Railway repair by the mill, probably repairing the track there. So that's nice. I suppose we'll go this way for now. We pass the Sodor Sweet Shop, and then the Snow Tunnel, which is I got last year, so it's relatively new for me, but it's a very nice piece. You saw it on the last layout too, but yeah. I always try to put it next to the Blue Mountain Quarry, because for some reason it just reminds me of something you would see there. Speaking of which, here we are, the little Blue Mountain Quarry. During the summer, I got the Deluxe Mountain Quarry set, which is a very rare thing to find, which I'm really happy about. So that's what those little spiral-looking pieces are from. So we have Samson climbing the mountain, who is very hard to place there because engines always want to fall down the mountain because it's on an incline, but I managed to get him to stay there. We have Boko and Bear, and again, Bear is a new acquisition because he's a custom. And we have all my Blue Mountain Quarry pieces. There's the gravel loader, the rock crusher. At the entrance, we have that another gravel loader, I guess, that came from the Deluxe Mountain Quarry set. And we have Merrick, who's actually not in the same position he always is. He's at 45 this time. And this time I couldn't fit any track under him, so I have the road here. So I'll go over the road now. We'll start here at the scrapyard, kind of loose background. We go from the scrapyard to the service station, and it's hard to see, but Oliver is in the service station, getting serviced, obviously. And I have a Crosby Station cargo truck, and it comes back around to the recycling center. But this line goes under the quarry, and it just leads to the quarry, which is nice. So we have a little road to the quarry because, you know, there's always road vehicles at the quarry. We have Byron, George, and then off to the side there's a little hand car that fell off the side there, which was intentional. I put it there, but, you know, because that is a, well, not steep incline, but things do tend to happen when they're high up. Anyways, this is a one big turnaround, so you just go up and you turn back around, and there's sidings. Again, there's a little workman's hut at the quarry because, I don't know, at construction sites you always see those little houses that the foreman stays in, so I imagine that's what that is. So, coming back around this way, we go through Rolf's castle, which is sort of sitting on the treadmill that remains in here, unfortunately. We go past this little oil depot, so that's where you get your oil tankers filled up, which actually almost perfectly fits between those two lines at Napford. I know that one looks like it's being squished over there, but that's because it actually needs to be over there. If you'll notice, that line's a little crooked, but it's just because I don't bother to fix them enough. So everything comes back to Napford, and so we'll go on Big City Engine and Hugo's line. Hugo is just a terminus. I usually make that line a buffer end. I usually do that for one of the lines at Napford, at least. Anyhow, we come to the museum stop and go station, and then we come here to a small representation of the docks. We have Henry, and it appears the troublemaker has stolen his flying kipper, and he is in a siding. That's why there's a few trucks there. He's just in a siding, watching that little troublemaker Dudley there stealing his flying kipper. We have the shark exhibit, the fishing dock, and a little workman there. I've placed a bunch of workmen and other figures around the island. If you've seen, there's the Bluffs Cove Lighthouse, and then as you can see, it goes back to the pirate ship, figure 8 section. But now we can go along this line. So we have my recent acquisition of Gordon, and since Super Ed has the real express coaches, I've given Gordon the Napford express coaches, which I must say he does look good pulling. This is the Abbey repair shed, also something decently new for me. We have Dennis in there. Now, whether or not Dennis is actually getting fixed or he's just sleeping is up to you. So, he's probably just sleeping, but maybe he did overwork himself, which is very unlikely, but impossible things do sometimes happen. Oops, I hit something. Anyways, those two lines converge, and we get to the Hatch Street crossing where we have a few paint variants. We have the LBSC Thomas and Madge carrying yellow Rheneas, so they're pointing out how different they both look. And then we get to the Diesel Works, which again is the same as always. The only new thing is that I did get a new smelting yard, although it is still broken, but the function of it does work. It's just the front of it. The plastic got chipped and such, and a bunch of it came off. Those smelting yards, this is my third one now. They're very fragile. I would not recommend getting one shipped in the U.S. postal system because it never works out. Anyhow, we of course have the usual suspects. There's Norman, there's Den, Diesel 10, Spider, and Dodge with Happy Hook at the back. All my Diesel Works pieces. I've stuck to this Diesel Works layout for years, and I love how it looks. It's just a dead end. It's asymmetrical, but it just shows how, well, not much care was put into the construction of this Diesel Works, because no matter how much the Tom Hat says he cares about the diesels as much, we all know that's not true. For at least most of the diesels. You know, Boco and Bear probably, but diesels like them, he probably doesn't like as much. Anyways, going over here, we have my another custom of Chester, who is ass-face, with a suspicious van. I don't know why he has that, but it appears he's been stopped in his tracks because of a cow. So he's not getting anywhere with that. Whether he's taking it to the Diesel Works or somewhere else, I have no idea. But I wouldn't trust ass-face. Anyhow, we get to the coal depot, which is actually a little unorganized this time. A lot of trucks and whatnot all the way around. There's coal everywhere. Even the power station coal is there, a little bit of it. There's cars and everything. Logan's working there, doing his best to sort it all out, which I'm sure he will. He's a good worker. So that's the coal depot, which, again, similar to the Diesel Works, I stick to the same configuration of the coal depot with those three buildings, like how they are. at an angle, which I do rather like. I think it looks very good. Going this way, this is another new acquisition. It's the piece that came with the Renee's Dino thing. I don't know. I just got it by itself. It's a very Quarry looking piece, so it's put here next to the coal depot and going into my interpretation of the lead mines. So as you can see, we have the lead mines here with another new acquisition, which is that little mud bog from the Hero of the Rail set, which I like to use as the little mine that Thomas collapsed into, because I think that works perfect for that. We have the custom Wonder Diesel and his truck, and the other trucks are laughing at him because the Wonder Diesel has shoved a truck to the other end of the mine, and there's no way to get that back. Which I don't know if they should be laughing, because he's the one that gets screwed in the end, but trucks are stupid, so what are you going to do? If we come this way, we come back to Diesel's line, and we get back to the T-switch. So the only other line that I see we have to go on is Chester's line behind him. We go over the crossing. We go up. There's not many elevated portions on this layout. I didn't use many building blocks. That's actually the limit of it. There's only 3, because the other elevated stuff doesn't use supports. There's the pirate ship and the quarry, but they all support themselves. So anyways, we go up here to the sawmill where my new Wilbert is working. Now, of course, they only made one Wilbert, so I just got him because I had my old Wilbert turned into 16, who was also working there, probably unhappily, but he was working there nonetheless. We have another workman, signal into the siding, so I've essentially turned the sawmill into a straight destination, because all the other ends that just connect back to the switch where it goes through the top. So it's become essentially just a normal destination, which is kind of funny since it usually is so complicated. We have a huge forest here. We have an abandoned building in the middle, which is from that Bell Rescue set, which is not a new acquisition of mine, but I really like using it. It's just good for decoration, and it can catch on fire if you want it to, which is also very fun. But I used a lot of my trees for the forest. A gristmill is there, so just a very foresty area, which Henry would be very proud of. Then we come to, I think, my last new acquisition, the trees on the track, and Tom Moss, of course, is hiding in the trees, plotting whatever Tom Moss plots. I love that character. I think it's very funny to have him on this layout, because he's fairly out of place, but you know, it works. Anyways, we turn around here when we go to the chocolate factory with Percy, with some box cars, and we have the dairyman and the miller at Mr. Jolly's chocolate factory. So I wouldn't trust them. I think those cooks are very crooked. Anyways, and then it just loops back around to the yards and to the haunted mine. So I believe that's everything covered on this layout. So I will be making another layout probably during the summer when I don't have school. Anyhow, I hope you enjoyed this, and that video, which is a story that takes place on this layout, will be releasing soon. So now you know where everything is for that. So I hope you enjoyed this layout. Expect more in the future, and I'll see you then.